Hello YouTube, it's Rom from Ramen Noodles TCG, and today I have a Fiendsmith Memento deck profile for you. I won an Alliance Insight pre-release with this deck, and I was pretty happy with how it felt. The Alliance Insight pre-release was not very competitive, it was like 4 people, but I've also been playing this deck a lot at locals beforehand, and I've had a fair bit of success with it, so I wanted to show off the build. So, despite the fact that I have this Alliance Insight mat here, this is primarily going to be a pre-Alliance Insight deck list. Obviously, we don't get any cards from Alliance Insight, but the metagame the metagame I was prepared for is a pre-Alliance Insight one. But I will talk about the post-Alliance Insight format as I go through this deck and talk about changes I'll make going forward, because I do intend to keep making Memento content post-Alliance Insight. So yeah, let's get into it. So starting off with the Fiendsmith cards, I am playing 3 Fiendsmith Engraver, 2 copies of Fiendsmith's Tract, the 1 Lacrima, and the 1 Lurie. So unlike my previous Fiendsmith Memento deck profile, I am playing the full Fiendsmith engine here. Because this was post-ban list, and we were in a much more wide-open metagame than something like the Orlando format that I tested that deck for, I wanted to play something a bit more high-ceiling, which is why I wanted to play the full Fiendsmith engine here. So, Fiendsmith Engraver is a 1-card Memento combo, as I discussed in the previous video. You do need to play all of these. You can play 1 Tract. I like having 2 Tract. Tract is not full Memento combo by itself, but it is still a very good extender. In order to do the Memento combo, you need to go through Aerial Eater off of Fiendsmith Sequence, and then dump Goblin, and then revive the Aerial Eater to a Cross Sheep Zone, so you can start playing with Goblin. So yeah, that is the Fiendsmith engine. 7 cards. This is a 45-card deck. Because we are playing Fiendsmith, I feel comfortable bumping the deck up to 45 because we have more starters and a few more bricks. So going into the Memento names, for the starters, we have 3 Angwitch, 2 Darkblade, 2 Goblin, and 3 Tatsu Nutoshigo. So I see a lot of people sleeping on Darkblade. A lot of Fiendsmith Memento decks play 1 of this card. I heavily disagree with that. I think Darkblade is a great card. The back row pop doesn't come up that much, but just having more starters is good for consistency. And also, the fact that this guy destroys himself means that your Sleepy is live, which can be a problem for some of the Angwitch lines, especially if you're going second and you want to start with the Fiendsmith cards, trying to use Engraver to break a board, for example. Going first, you obviously, you don't want to start with Engraver. Engraver is like your last option for a starter because it plays into Droll, it plays into Fualos, and if you do the Fiendsmith line, you cannot special Tatsu. So you always want to start with the Memento cards going first. Because Tatsu requires you to control no monsters or only Memento monsters to summon itself. Yeah, Tatsu is broken. We're still playing 3, obviously. I'm playing 2 Goblin because we send this off of Aerial Eater, and it's just a fairly viable normal summon. I am playing 2, so yeah. Speaking of Tatsu, for some of the Memento 1-ofs, I'm playing, obviously, Gaddock Sleepy. I've seen a recent trend of people playing multiple Sleepy in pure Memento. I might like to try that at some point, but obviously this is Fiendsmith Memento, so I'm still playing just the 1. Gaddock, I often joke that I need to bring a full stack of these to a tournament because every time I draw it, I want to rip it in half. I draw this a lot, but, you know, it is what it is. Playing 45 helps with that, but you still draw it. Some more 1-ofs. Obviously, we are playing Mace, Akihiron, Combined Creation, and Horn Dragon. So, because this is Fiendsmith Memento, I do think Horn Dragon is mandatory, because it helps you make a Moon. It helps you do a lot of your combos. one Angwitch, Darkblade, or Goblin gets you to the full line, but you do need Horn Dragon as an extra link material in that combo. So yeah, you do need the Horn Dragon. For the extenders, I am playing 2 copies of Memento Fusion, 3 copies of Bone Party, and 3 copies of Breakout. And obviously, the 1 Mixlon. This is not an extender, but you have to play it. The new combos that we do, actually, Mixlon becomes a real Garnet because you are linking off your Creation King and banishing it to revive later to search this. So if you search this, or if you hard draw this, you can't search it. So this does become a Garnet. You have to do a bit of a different combo line. But it's not a big deal to draw. It is still like a crappy extender to draw. So Fusion, it pained me to cut this to 2. A lot of Fiendsmith Memento lists only play 2 because we're playing Fiendsmith cards, so we have less density of Memento monsters. This card is still broken, though. Yeah, you still play 2, just because it's a really busted extender. And obviously it's searchable, but you need to be able to search a second one off of its effect, because you do have, it can search itself. So, yeah. Breakout helps you dodge things. That's why we're playing 2 Goblin. A cool thing about Fiendsmith Memento is that because we are on this card, we can chain it to interactions on generic monsters because it can contribute anything. So if your opponent tries to imperm the sequence, for example, you can break out and then still resolve your sequence, which is very, very, very strong. We have 3 Bone Party in beautiful QCR here, still as busted as ever. Moving on to the hand traps, I am playing only 9 in this deck. I don't have that much space. We are playing 3 Ash, 3 Imperm, and 3 Droll main. So at the pre-release, I go back and forth, actually, between Droll and Fua main. I think Droll main is probably better. Because we are playing Fiendsmith Memento, we have less ability to play around the Molcharmies. So being able to cut off your opponent's draws with something like Droll, like dropping Droll on your own turn, for example, to stop your opponent from drawing off of the Molcharmies is pretty good. And that's another reason why we're playing Ash. This is mostly just to hit the Molcharmies. Imperm is just like a generic hand trap. I was actually not playing 3 Imperm for a while. I added the 3rd one in just because it felt weird playing only 2 Imperm. I know that's terrible reasoning, but I just wanted more hand traps. So yeah, this is what I went with. I don't really think there's another hand trap that is quite as versatile as Imperm to be playing in these slots. I am playing 45, so I could just like cut the Imperms, but I did want more hand traps, so I went with that for the lineup. For other staples that are not hand traps, I am playing the now limited Talent, Called By, and 2 copies of Droplet. So these 2 are hand trap insurance. Talent is good for going second. It's also thrust searchable, which I am siding the thrust. I'm playing 2 Droplet. Droplet is very good in Memento because you can send spells. You can chain it to spells and then send them. As I talked about earlier, we have a fairly high quick play spell count, so being able to chain those and then chain Droplet is very, very good. Yeah. So that's it for the 45 card main deck. Moving on to the extra deck, for the Memento fusions, we play the 1 Twin Dragon and 2 Creation King. So extra deck space is extremely tight. So we are only able to find room for 1 Twin Dragon. In Pure, obviously, I think you'd probably play a second one. You don't actually need a second one, but Kashtira Unicorn comes up, or is more relevant in this format because of all the limited extra deck monsters. So you'd want a second one of this in Pure, but it is what it is. Yeah, we really can't find space for any more. You send the second Creation King off of the dump effect a lot less now because we revive it from banishment, so we're supposed to link it off. I'll go over that in a little bit, but I think you do still need the second Creation King. Yeah. So yeah, just the 3 Memento fusions. Onto the Fiendsmith links, I am playing Moon, Requiem, Sequence, and Agnum Day. Yeah, I mean, obviously this is just like the Fiendsmith lineup. We are playing the Agnum Day because unlike the previous build, we are playing Desiree. In the other builds, I wasn't playing Desiree because I was linking up into Nightmare Griffin. But yeah, we are playing Agnum Day. So let's talk about the fusions because there's not really much to talk about here. So for the fusions, we're playing the Desiree, the Necroquip, the Aerial Eater, and Baphomet. So Necroquip Princess is important for making Caesar. You don't just have to use one of the main deck guys equipped with a Fiendsmith link. You can Agnum Day into Desiree and then make that into Necroquip. That comes up a lot. Because you can revive the Agnum Day off of Lacrima, you have that as follow-up. And just more layered negation on your opponent's turn. Aerial Eater is important for the 1-card Engraver Combo because it banishes 2 fiends. That's why you need, to banish double Engraver. But it comes up. You can make this sometimes with Memento Fusion for like very niche lines. Same with Baphomet. Baphomet is mostly here just to dump Engraver. Unlike Aerial Eater, which almost always dumps Goblin. When you're banishing this to revive from banishment, there's no, we're not playing Diabells on the side anymore. Griffin is banned, but we are just reviving Creation King. It didn't come up before, but now it actually does come up because of the ways we're doing these new lines, which I'll talk about in a little bit. So unfortunately, we don't have space for a Link 4, but Cross Sheep, Proxy F, High Caesar, and SP is the final 4 cards in the extra. So the Cross Sheep combo used to be how we climbed up into a Link 4. Now this is just a way to revive the Goblin you dump off of Aerial Eater in the 1-card Engraver combo. That's basically all this is used for, because there's no more Link climbing. Proxy F Magician. This used to be Abao. Abao was really flexible, but the Proxy F Magician combo is just so powerful that I think we should be playing this. You're supposed to summon, you can summon Aerial Eater off of this. I've done that a lot, but you mostly just summon Baphomet to get that set up. It's an extra fiend for Caesar, so you're able to set up Caesar Combined Creation with Bone Party set, with Lacrima in Graveyard to bring back Agnum Day, which brings back Desiree, and the Baphomet to bring back the Creation King. So that's a very scary end board. SP is non-negotiable. I think this card is just a Swiss Army knife. Yeah, I mean, this deck vomits out generic links. You want to be playing the best generic link. So for the side deck, I am playing the Molcharmies on the side. I am playing 3 copies of Fualos, the 1 Perulia, and the 2 Meowls. Perulia is really, really strong. I will be playing more of this card when I get more of it. Meowls is just okay, but it might get a little better post-Alliance Insight, but I actually don't know how effective Meowls is going to be. It's a lot less good against Malice than I think everybody was predicting. So yeah, Perulia is crazy. And obviously, Fuwalis is just broken. You put these in going second because they're broken going second. Speaking of going second cards, we have some back removal. I am playing 2 copies of Lightning Storm and the 1 Duster. So Lightning Storm is surprisingly good against Ryzeal. The hardest part of beating Ryzeal is actually to play around the cross. So just being able to Lightning Storm away the cross and all the freaking back row that deck sets is really good. You know, just back removal good. Yeah. These are thrust searchable. And they're like going second thrust targets. I don't find myself siding in thrust too much going second. But yeah, I am playing the thrusts and the D barrier as a going first thrust target. I was looking into other thrust targets for going first, but I didn't think there was anything worth playing. I was playing Fracture Dance for the longest time as just a going first thrust target, but the Memento board is just so strong that I don't think we need it. I wouldn't call it a brick because it is extra interruption. I just think it's an unnecessary use of my side deck space. Because setting an imperm off of thrust after still making a decent board is probably just good enough, right? So, and obviously against Ryzeal, you set D barrier and just win the game. So yeah, that is thrust. And then we are playing 3 copies of Artifact Lancia. Now, yeah, I mean, this is just for Malice. You can play Chaos Hunter in this deck. There's a funny combo where you can banish Chaos Hunter and then revive it with Baphomet. That comes up like sometimes. Some people really like that. I don't think we need to do that. That's why I'm just playing 3 Lancia and no Chaos Hunter. Instead of Meowls, maybe you can play Chaos Hunter. Seems pretty promising. But yeah, that's it for the deck. I will show off some combos now. Okay, so now we can finally talk about the 1-card Engraver Combo. I've seen a bunch of different 1-card Engraver combos online, and I was very unhappy with all of them. A lot of them were using side deck cards like Cranium Burst, or were just very strange. So this is the line that I came up with. So as with all of these Engraver combos, we start with Engraver, into Tract, Tract, Search, and then discard the Lurie. Lurie into Requiem, summoning Lacrima. So we dump Engraver here. We have to shuffle back to the Lurie. We want to keep the Requiem engrave in case we want to pivot to Caesar. But here we just go for a sequence here. Shuffling back Lacrima, Requiem. We need to keep double Engraver engrave for the Aerial Eaters. So we Aerial Eater, dump Goblin. Go for Cross Sheep. Now we Aerial Eater, and then Cross Sheep. So we go Goblin, dump Gaddock, Sleepy. Goblin, Gaddock, add back Sleepy. Then we Sleepy here for Twin Dragon. So Twin Dragon, search Horn Dragon and Darkblade. So this is where the combo diverges in many different ways. There's a bunch of different ways you can do this. I think this is the best way to do this, searching Horn Dragon and Darkblade. Obviously, Horn Dragon is necessary. Some people search Angwitch here. I was doing that a little bit. But I think this is the correct way. So we're going to go Twin Dragon, revive Sleepy. We have Darkblade, pop Sleepy. Bring out Angwitch here. So we can go Chainlink 1 Sleepy, Chainlink 2 Angwitch. You can do this either way. I think the Sleepy actually should be Chainlink 1, not to play around Skullmeister, but because the send is actually more important than the search, because this only gets you a monster, but this could get you access to your fusion spell. So here we're actually going to grab Goblin. So because this is a 1-card combo, I am basically ignoring all the hand traps because you can't play around any of them because it's a 1-card combo. I mean, what do you expect? So I'm opting for Sealing here, which is why I'm searching Goblin to get that targeting protection. So yeah, there's a bunch of different ways you can do this. You could go for Mace here. Yeah, you could go Mace here, but I went with Goblin. I'll talk about the Mace line in a little bit. So after we've dumped the fusion, now we go for Proxy F. Now you can see we have 3 Mementos on field, so we can Proxy F into Creation King. So this leaves us with our Memento fusion activation still ready to make another fusion. So here we could chain block Creation King if you really wanted to, but like, again, if your opponent had Ash, you're probably getting Ashed already. So Creation King sends a name that you don't have, Combine Creation and Aki. So we go Fusion here, pop Creation King, grab Bone Party. We go Aki Huron, summon itself. Creation King, grab Mythlon. We activate the Mythlon. We pop for Angwitch. We trigger Aki Huron to add back Fusion. We go Angwitch Effects, bring back Goblin. We go Mythlon here, bringing back Gaddock. We can link into Moon here. Now we Memento then Fusion, shuffling back a Beast and a Fiend for Baphomet. Baphomet dump Engraver. So now we have the requisite materials for our Caesar. So we can go Agnum Day here for Engraver, and then make Caesar, shuffling 5. Notice that we want to shuffle Twin and Sleepy. We already put back Mace, or I don't think we used Mace, but yeah. You want to make sure that these are in deck, as well as the Gaddock, which we already shuffled back. So now we have Combined Creation and Caesar. We also have the Baphomet here under the Caesar, so we can bring back Creation King. And yeah, we have Bone Party set for follow-up, and the Goblin targeting protection. So yeah, that's the 1-card Engraver line. Let's look at a 1-card Angwitch combo. So this is another combo that's utilizing Proxy F Magician here. So as with all Memento combos, we go Angwitch Search Tatsu, Tatsu Effects, Tatsu Dump 3. Yeah, these are the main 3 you dump with Tatsu. So we're going to go Angwitch for Goblin. In the main line, you'd go Summon Mace, Search Fusion, but because we're doing a more high ceiling play, we need to do it like this. So we're going to go Goblin, dump Gaddock, Fusion, Gaddock, add back Sleepy. You know the drill. Usually you just go Sleepy here, we go Twin. We go Twin, search Aki Huron and Horn Dragon. So we search the Aki Huron here, so we play around Nibiru. Essentially, we can go Fusion, search Bone Party, and then we have Bone Party Aki Huron. In order to get the add back and the summon, we have like the ability to play around Nib because we get the add back there. So we go Twin, revive Sleepy because we want to use the pop. So we're gonna pop, search. We're going to Sleepy here for Combined Creation. Now we have this in rotation. We're going to Bone Party here for Darkblade. We're going to go Aki, add back Fusion. We're going to Fuse here, shuffling Sleepy, Gaddock, and Tatsu. We're just going to Combine Creation for some names. It doesn't really matter what you send here as long as you're not like sending... you don't want to send your second Goblin, but it really doesn't matter what you're sending. You're just sending more names. So we're going to link these 2 off into Proxy F Magician. So you want to make sure not to send the Sleepy because that's how we do this Proxy F line. So we're going to go for Mythlon here. We summon Sleepy off of Darkblade, which is really strange until you consider that we're doing a Proxy F line. So we're going to Mythlon here, chain Aki. We're going to bring back the Gaddock off of the Mythlon. Now we can choose a Beast and a Fiend for Burfo. Baphomet effect send Engraver, and then we can go for Moon here. We're going to go for Requiem, so we don't have to go through the Fiendsmith line beforehand, so now we can do the Fiendsmith line. We go for Lacrima here. We link these 2 off into sequence, shuffling back some guys for Desiree. We obviously want to leave the Lacrima Engrave for later. So we're going to go for Agnum Day. Agnum Day effect to bring back Desiree. Go for Necroquip Princess here. Now we can Engraver Shuffle sequence, and now we have Lacrima for Agnum Day as follow-up. Now we can make Caesar here, and now we shuffle 5 for Combined Creation. Yeah, so shuffling Gaddock, Sleepy, Twin. Those are Mace. Those are like the main 4 you want to shuffle, and then just another one. Now we're just going to set. Then we're going to Mythlon set. Bone Party. We shouldn't actually set 4 back row probably, just because you want the extra space for the Agnum Day and Desiree, but, you know, this is just an example. Yeah, so that is the Fiendsmith Memento combo line. Tatsu also does it, but the line is different. Goblin also does it. Darkblade also does it. Yeah. So I've been playing a lot of Memento. And post ALIN, I think I'm going to go back to pure Memento. So if you want to see that, be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss it. Thank you for watching and have a great day.